Right, so what is happening, peoples? How are we all? Welcome back to the Nerdic Pro podcast here on YouTube. Now, welcome to the second ever episode of the Nerdic Pro podcast on YouTube, and in general, episode number 161 of the Nerdic Pro podcast. Now, today I'm going to be giving some more, some SalaStar ratings to last night's edition of WWE's Monday Night Raw, being the Monday, the 5th of December 2022 edition of Monday Night Raw. Now, overall, it wasn't really like a bad show, to be perfectly honest with you. I think the worst match on the actual card was the Dominic Mysterio versus Akira Tozawa match that took place. As I rated that out of 5 stars, I rated it 2.25 out of 5. So it wasn't the worst match of all time. It just definitely wasn't the best. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't up there with the likes of Tiger Mask versus the Dynamite Kid, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat versus Ric Flair, Kazuchika Okada versus Kenny Omega, etc., etc. But so the show started out with the WWE Undisputed Tag Team titles being on the line between the reigning and defending champions of Jimmy and Jey Uso of the Usos, representatives of the Bloodline. They were defending. It was originally supposed to be against Matt Riddle and Elias. However, the Usos had decided to attack Elias just before the match actually got underway. Matt Riddle then came out after the Usos had actually made their entrance, after, I believe it was Jey Uso, had said on the mic out in the ring that the match was cancelled and was actually no longer going to take place because they'd literally attacked Elias a couple of minutes before. So instead of it being Elias Matt Riddle was teaming with, it ended up being Kevin Owens. Now, this match was actually a fairly good match. There were a few sort of high-risk maneuvers, as you'd expect. There was outside brawling between, stare downs between Kevin Owens and Solo Sikoa and Sami Zayn, which I thought was actually pretty good. Overall, I will quite happily give this match, out of 5 stars, I will quite happily give it a 3.5 star rating. The next match was a triple threat match, where the winner of this match faced the winner of a match later on in the evening. The winner of the overall match will go on to face Bianca Belair for the Raw Women's Championship. This first triple threat match consisted of the leader of Damage Control, Bayley, the Judgment Day's Rhea Ripley, and Asuka. This was actually a very good match, to say the least. I think that Rhea Ripley performed absolutely amazing. Asuka, I think could have been seen in the match, if you know what I mean, a lot more than what she actually was. So other than that, very good match. I do believe it was a tad better than the Undisputed Tag Team Titles match, literally just before. And I will quite happily give this match a 4.5 star rating. Overall, very good match. Bayley ended up coming out victorious in this match, if I haven't already said that. But Bayley came out victorious. The next match was for the WWE United States Championship between the defending champion Austin Theory and Mustafa Ali. Before I get into actually reviewing this match, I would just like to point out that I much prefer this whole new character, this whole new attitude, this whole new persona that we're currently seeing with Austin Theory rather than the selfie taking up his own arse little prick, right? From what we were seeing during his original reign with the United States Championship and his time with the Money in the Bank briefcase. So yeah, I much do prefer this version of Austin Theory. We may only be like a handful of weeks into it, but I do believe in the long run, this will definitely be a much better character, a much better gimmick, and put on some much better storytelling, some much better storylines, and some much better matches than what we actually saw with the old selfie taking Vince McMahon's daddy's boy sort of character previously with Austin Theory. This match again, fairly sort of standard United States title match. Mustafa Ali, I do believe, like I do feel kind of sorry with him. He's being booked in between Rollins, Seth freaking Rollins, the almighty Bobby Lashley, and Austin Theory. He's involved in the whole feud, but he's not involved, if you know what I mean. Like, he's involved, but he's not involved, if you know what I mean. Yeah, so he's... I think that, to an extent, with the whole sort of Bobby Lashley, Seth freaking Rollins, and Austin Theory thing going on, and if you want to plus Mustafa Ali, then you can. He's just there. He's just an enhancement talent for it. I'm going to call him like a enhancement talent to the whole feud going on, to the whole storyline currently going on over the United States Championship. Now, again, fairly good match. So yeah, I'll quite happily rate it 3.5 stars. Austin Theory ended up walking away victorious and retaining the United States Championship. So yeah, overall 3.5 stars. So yeah. Next we had AJ Styles, Doc Gallows, and Carl Anderson of the OC versus Alpha Academy's Otis and Chad Gable teaming with Baron Corbin in a 6-man tag team match. This was actually a pretty good match, like in all fairness. Really, really good match. I think there wasn't no sort of build up to the match. It was already going over this whole JBL's sort of poker game thing that was going on backstage. Same with the Dominic Mysterio Akira Tozawa match. That's sort of how it all sort of panned out to actually happen in the ring for these matches to actually start. Yeah, really, really good match. Baron Corbin, I think, performed a lot better than what I think that what I actually thought that he would have actually done, like in all fairness. Overall 4.25 out of 5. I'm gonna rate this match. So yeah, moving on to the next match, which was Akira Tozawa versus the Judgment Day's Dominic Mysterio. There was no sort of momentum in this match. The crowd were dead. I mean, in all fairness, throughout the entire show, the crowd were pretty shit. Do you know what I mean? There was no story to the match. It literally only got booked because they had a bit of a sort of like a verbal scuffle during the whole JBL poker game segment, if you want to call it that. Not the best of matches, but then again, I have seen worse. Um, and I've definitely seen like a hell of a lot better. So I think, all in all, I think rating it 2.25, so 2.25 stars out of 5 is, I think, in fairness, a fair rating to the match. So yeah, moving on to the main event of the evening between Alexa Bliss, Nikki Cross, and the man Becky Lynch. Very, very good match. So this was the match where the winner of this match, Alexa Bliss, gets to take on the leader of Damage Control, Bayley. The winner of that match then goes on to face Bianca Belair for the Raw Women's Championship. So yeah, very, very good match. I don't think that Nikki Cross had a major involvement in it. Alexa Bliss, sorry, I don't think that she actually had like the major like involvement in it. It was like, even though that she did actually come away with the victory, to then go on to face Bayley, to have the potential to go on to face Bianca Belair for the Raw Women's Championship. I don't think that she had the best of like the best of involvements in the match. Overall, very, very good match, to say the least. I think that it definitely does deserve a 4 out of 5 star rating. Alexa Bliss ended up walking away victorious. All in all, there was a potential 30 stars to actually award to this show. I've not actually added them up yet, so bear with me 2 seconds. 4, 2.25, 4.25, 3.5, 4, and then 3.5. So 0, and then 1, 2, 4, so 5. So 1, 2, and 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and then 1, 6, 7, so 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Excuse me. So all in all, out of a potential 30 stars, that I've given this match a overall star rating of 21.5 stars. So yeah, not the worst of shows, not the best of shows. It could have been like a lot worse, I think. The potential like 8.5 stars I didn't actually rate. So all in all, like the show is only 8.5 stars down from getting like the full star rating. So yeah, Alexa, what percentage of 30 is 21.5?
21.5 is 71.67% of 30.
So 71.67%. 71.67%. So 71.67% of stars have been rated for this show. In terms of what was my match of the night, I don't always go with the highest rated match on the card, but in this case, I am going to. I do believe it was the AJ Styles. Tell you what, in this case, I'm not going to actually, as I do believe the Bayley, Rhea Ripley, and Asuka match was the match of the evening, as I believe there was a lot more story in the match, as you had the interruption with Bayley's entrance from the man Becky Lynch. So I think the match of the night definitely was Bayley versus Rhea Ripley versus Asuka. It wasn't my highest rated match on the actual card, on the actual show. But yeah, so however, I don't always rate match of the night as the highest rated match. Like 99% of people probably will do, but like in 9 times out of 10, I will do. But yeah, like the Akira Tozawa versus Dominic Mysterio match, definitely not match of the night in the slightest. But yeah, so yeah, overall 21.5 stars out of 5 were actually given from the Nerdic Pro Podcast's Bobby SalaStar Star Ratings. So yeah, which brings the total amount of matches that actually go towards the SalaStar rating system up to quite a lot. Still. So yeah, all in all, there's just over 200 matches that actually count towards the SalaStar rating system. I'm hoping to try and get it up to 300 by the end of 2022. So yeah, that's a lot of wrestling I'm going to need to watch between the time of actually recording this SalaStar Ratings podcast to sort of midnight here in the UK, England more specifically, although same time periods across all 4 countries in the UK. But yeah, so like for New Year's Eve. So yeah, I'm now going to have a count up for how many matches actually go towards the SalaStar rating system, and I will be leaving the specific number down in the description below, and how many, and sort of like what star rating actually has the most amount of matches that have been awarded that. So, in the description below, I'm going to say how many matches, inclusive of this episode of Monday Night Raw, actually go towards the SalaStar rating system, and then which specific star rating actually has the most amount of matches that go towards that specific star rating, if you know what I mean. Like how many matches I've actually rated that star rating. So yeah. Anyways, thank you very much for listening to the Nerdic Pro Podcast's return podcast here on YouTube. I get it's only a short one, but I'm going to try and do the SalaStar ratings. Excuse me. I'm going to try and do the SalaStar ratings more frequently in terms of podcasting to upload more specifically here onto YouTube. I probably will upload this onto Facebook as well, but the SalaStar rating podcasts will, like the SalaStar ratings podcasts home will be here on the Nerdic Pro Podcast YouTube channel. The SalaStar rating podcast will vary in different days. I am planning on bringing out a weekly series here on the Nerdic Pro Podcast YouTube channel to actually bring out every Thursday. I will probably record them sort of like 2-3 weeks in hand, so sort of like tape them 2-3 weeks in hand, just to give myself more of a time to actually figure out figure out the topics of that podcast, the notes of that podcast, and other various podcasts that I'm doing on the Nerdic Pro Podcast YouTube channel, Facebook, as well as on Spotify and Anchor podcasts. Yeah, anyways, please do not forget, please do, if you haven't already, give the Nerdic Pro Podcast a follow on Facebook. That is on facebook.com/Nerdic Pro. That is spelled NERDICPRO. Now, yeah, before I do sign off this podcast, the Nerdic Pro Podcast is currently in the process of a Christmas raffle, where we are raffling off various different wrestling magazines and programs. A Clash at the Castle program from the actual show itself, as well as various different magazines from the mid to late 1990s of WWF. There's also a WCW program in there, as well as a Just Incredible ECW magazine as well. So yeah, very, very good reads. So if you would like to enter this raffle, it is £2.50 per number. There are currently 100 numbers available. Half of the proceedings will be going towards the podcast Friends of Brain Tumor Research. The other 50% of proceedings. So Brain Tumor Research are a non-profit charity organisation based over in Milton Keynes. They help fund the research into treatment for people with various different types of brain tumors. The other 50% of proceedings will be going towards trying to bring in some Nerdic Pro podcast merchandise. So yeah, £1.25 per number will be going towards brain tumor research. The other £1.25 per number will be going towards bringing in some Nerdic Pro podcast merchandise. If you would like to enter this raffle, then the only way to enter is by sending in a message to the Nerdic Pro podcast Facebook page. I will be leaving a link to the Facebook page down in the description below. So yeah, the draw will be taking place at 1:30 p.m. UK time on December 25th, which its more famous name is Christmas Day. So on December 25th at 1:30 p.m. UK time. Other than that, thank you very much for joining me here today here on YouTube. My name has, as per usual, been Bobby Salazar, and I shall be seeing all you guys later on. Thank you very much for joining, and I'll be seeing you all later. Goodbye.